What's going on, knife lovers? Welcome to Nice Knives. Today we're taking a look at a knife here by Civivi, the Civivi Mini Sandbar. Why they call this knife the Mini, I don't know, because I don't think they ever made a full-size sandbar, at least that I'm aware of. So the fact that they call this one the Mini, I think just because it's small. It does have the same kind of size as the Mini Praxis. And believe it or not, guys, this thing used to be $100 and something, $125, $127. And then it lowered down to about 80 or 90, high 90s, then 80s. Now it's been discontinued, and you can get this thing now for about 40, 50 bucks. Some even maybe around 30. So now it's a steal. Back when this first came out, it was not a steal, and that might be the reason why this thing has been discontinued. Probably because people weren't picking it up for 100 and something bucks. I know I wouldn't buy this knife for 100 bucks, but now with the price, I probably would say now would be the time to get this knife. If you really like it, now would be the time to get it. This one here has the green G10 scales. It's got a nice Civivi logo as usual for the pivot accent. You got yourself a reversible tip-up carry clip. I do believe the clip is titanium. I tested it out with a magnet and it does not attract it. It's held on by T8 torque bits, and you got T8 body screws and a T8 pivot screw as well. Flipper tab for deployment. It's got some nice jimping on the flipper tab, running on ball bearings, and it has a Nitro V clip point hollow ground blade with a little bit of a recurve there. It has a satin finish on that blade, which I think is fantastic, and it is liner locked. The designer of the Mini Sandbar, I believe it's Eric Oakes. It's O-C-H-S, so it could be Ox, but I believe it's Eric Oakes. You got a little bit of swedging here on the clip point part of the blade, so it is pretty cool. It's actually pretty thin as well, so it's very slicey with that hollow ground blade, and the geometry, the thickness of that blade. It's going to be very, very slicey. It is fully skeletonized liners inside, which I think is awesome. You do have a G10 back spacer that actually turns into a lanyard hole here. And you can see this is where you'd reverse your clip. Now, it's pretty good action. It is still fairly not broken in. I do not use this or carry this very often. It does carry very well in the pocket. It's pretty lightweight. It's pretty thin, and it's not too intrusive in your pocket. So I really like that about it. But yeah, I still can't understand why this thing would be $100. Even 75 bucks would be wild to me. This thing, I think when it first came out, probably should have sat around $50. Just because it's Nitro V doesn't make it a $130 knife, that's for sure. If you guys are curious, I'll definitely leave a link in the description where you could pick this thing up, and you'll probably see the original price, and it'll show you what the new price is. So you guys will see the original price before it went on sale, and you'll be like, what in the world? But anyway, it is very nice. I do love the satin finish. I like this minimal recurve here. It does have a decent sharpening choil down by that plunge grind. It is a very good blade shape. I do like the blade shape. Comfortable in the hand. You can get a full 4-finger grip on this knife. You can even choke up on this, but there is no jimping at all on the spine or the scale there. This is about the same size as the Civivi Mini Praxis, and that thing is $30, guys. So, and you guys all know that. So if you were going to get a knife, would you get the Civivi Mini Praxis for 30 bucks, or would you get this thing here for $130? But now that they're kind of in the same ballpark in price, you kind of at least have some options. But this thing has been discontinued, like I said, so it might be a little harder to find. It does drop shut pretty good on those ball bearings. The blade's pretty lightweight, so you kind of got to give it a nice little thrust with your wrist to get it to close. It's not a very drop shutty blade just because it's pretty lightweight. Not a lot of meat on that blade. So, but it's a very good knife. And the measurement of the Mini Sandbar here, full 7 inches in its entirety. Blades meeting up with the scales at 3 inches. The cutting edge is sitting exactly at 2 3/4. Now the handle or the scales of the knife is a full 4 inches. let's get a weight of the mini sandbar here. I'm going to guesstimate that this thing probably weighs about 2.9 ounces. That's what I'm going to go with. Let's find out. We got grams is 75.7 grams. 2.7. All right, I was off, but I was close. I was pretty close on that. Some size comparisons. We're going to put it up against some other Civivi knives here. First, we're going to do the Civivi Elementum. This is the liner lock. This is also hollow ground. This has the D2 blade steel and also has the G10 scales. And you can see that the Elementum and the mini sandbar are pretty darn close in size. I don't have the mini Praxis here with me today. Otherwise, I would be putting that up against this. I will have that back soon. Now we're going to put it up against the Civivi Cubit. This is the flat ground 14C28N steel blade. There you go. Now the Civivi Vision FG. This also is G10, and this has that Damascus blade. So now I do want to put it up against a knife that is not a Civivi. We're going to put it up against the QSP Penguin. This is another budget-friendly knife you can get for around 30 bucks. And you can see they are pretty close as well in size. A little more substantial, you know, more to grab onto and more blade for the QSP here. Now for the bonus knife, guys, this is the Tenable Beaver. I chose this knife as the bonus knife because I don't know if I've shown this one. This also has Nitro V, just like the mini sandbar. And it also has the JG10 scales. And it's been skeletonized just like the sandbar here. So they are pretty cool. This has a stonewash finish, and this has the satin finish on that blade. But yeah, you can see the size difference on these bad boys. I'll have to see what this one costs. I don't remember. But for you, those of you who aren't familiar with Tenable, Tenable is Concept's budget line, and they do some good work over at Tenable as well. They got some very good knives. So that's why I chose that one as the bonus knife, because it's got the same kind of blade steel, the same color scales and all that. So yeah, and as far as the Nitro V steel goes, guys, I've kind of figured out that its edge retention is going to be somewhere between 14C and S30V. It's kind of hard to narrow it down with that Nitro V, but there's arguments on there. Oh, it's better than 154. Some of you are even saying, oh, it's right up there with S30V. What I'm kind of thinking is it's probably going to be closer to 154 cm. I would say it probably falls between 14C and 154. It's supposed to be very easy to sharpen, so that's what's good about it. It is a very corrosive resistant, and is pretty tough as well. So it's kind of one of those steels that's been made proprietary for knives to give it a good well-roundedness. So you kind of get the best of all three categories in blade steel. You're going to get good edge retention, good corrosion resistance, and it's going to be a tough blade. So Nitro V is a good steel, but it still doesn't justify in my mind $130, especially for a knife this small. This was a full-size knife. Even if it was the same size as this Beaver here, 130 bucks for G10 scales and Nitro V? I don't think so. You know, if you're paying 130 bucks for this thing, I would expect it to have titanium, or I'd expect it to have at least some fat carbon fiber or something. But, you know, $130 for JG10, you got to be out of your mind. So kind of a no-brainer as to why this knife kind of got discontinued in my eyes. Probably because the price was so high, nobody was buying it. So if you guys like this knife, guys, it is a very cool knife. Now will be the time to pick this thing up while it's sitting around 30 to 40 bucks. So yeah, so their loss is your gain for this guy here. But all right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Hit that like button for me. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. And if you do own the mini sandbar here, let me know what you think about it. And you let me know if there's something I'm missing, why this knife costs as much as it did when it first came out. Please let me know in the comments below. I'd really appreciate it. Other than that, guys, I'm going to catch you all in the next video. Peace out, people.